November 28th, 2018, Allyson Felix was sitting in a neonatal intensive care unit outside Detroit, watching her daughter fight to breathe. She was 33 years old, 32 weeks pregnant when the doctors told her it had to happen now. Her daughter, Cameron, came into the world weighing 3 pounds and 8 ounces, 7 weeks before she was supposed to, delivered by emergency cesarean section after her heart rate dropped to levels that left the medical team with no choice. The most decorated female track and field athlete in American history sat in that room listening to monitors, listening to alarms, listening to a mother screaming somewhere else in the unit, screaming that wouldn't stop. Nurses rushed to close her door. She never found out what happened to that other mother's baby. She sat there and thought this could happen to Cameron. And at the exact same moment, the company that had sponsored her for nearly a decade was offering her a new contract that cut her pay by 70% because she'd had a child. Two things were happening to Allyson Felix at once. One of them almost killed her daughter. The other one tried to end her career. She fought back against both of them. And then, when the world assumed she was finished, she went to Tokyo and became the most decorated track and field Olympian in American history. That was 2021. She retired at 36. Now she's coming back. At 42, in Los Angeles, her city. Nobody told her not to. She tried that before. It didn't work. Los Angeles, 1985, the San Fernando Valley. The daughter of a minister and a teacher, a household built around faith, discipline, and the expectation that both would be needed in equal measure. Allyson Felix started running in high school at Los Angeles Baptist High School, and the sport identified her almost immediately as something that didn't fit the normal scale. By 17, she had set the world under-20 record in the 200 meters with a time of 22.11 seconds. Track and Field News named her High School Athlete of the Year. She enrolled at the University of Southern California and then decided, in a move almost unheard of at the time, not to compete collegiately at all. She turned professional before she ran a single college race. She had already outgrown the system. At the 2004 Athens Olympics, 18 years old and the youngest member of the American track squad, she ran the 200 meters final and finished second behind Jamaica's Veronica Campbell-Brown, setting a world junior record of 22.18 seconds in the process. She went home with a silver medal and a future no one in the sport was willing to bet against. The gold medals came next. They kept coming. Helsinki, 2005, world champion in the 200 meters at 19 years old. Osaka, 2007, she retained it. Berlin, 2009, she retained it again, becoming the first woman to win the world 200 meters title 3 times in a row. In between, she was also building toward the 400 meters, a longer, harder event that demands a different kind of athlete. And the transition, when it came, added years to a career that might otherwise have peaked and narrowed. London 2012 was the games she had been building toward for 8 years. She won the 200 meters final in 21.88 seconds, beating Shelley Ann Fraser-Price and Carmelita Jeter for the individual gold she'd been chasing since Athens. Then she won the 4x100 relay, then the 4x400, 3 gold medals from 3 events. The most successful games of her career. Rio 2016, 6 career Olympic golds, first female track and field athlete ever to reach that number. Silver in the 400 meters. Another relay gold. 9 Olympic medals in total, equaling Jamaica's Malene Otte for the most ever by a woman in track and field. She was 30 years old. She had been the best in the world for over a decade, and the sport was about to ask whether she had anything left. Not because of her times, but because of something that had nothing to do with running at all. In November 2018, while her daughter was still in the NICU, Allyson Felix was also in contract negotiations with Nike. She had been with the company for nearly 10 years. Her face had been on their campaigns. Her times had been on their press releases. She was, by any measure, one of the most valuable female athletes in track and field history, not just for what she ran, but for what she represented to the sport. Nike's new offer cut her pay by 70%. The reason, implicit in the terms if not stated directly, was the pregnancy. She asked for a simple thing: contractual language guaranteeing she wouldn't be financially penalized in the months surrounding childbirth. Nike said no. They would agree not to reduce her pay for 1 year after the birth, but they would not put maternity protections in the contract itself. No precedent, they said. She was sitting in a hospital room watching her daughter breathe, and a corporation was explaining precedent to her. She left Nike. In May 2019, she wrote an opinion piece for the New York Times laying out exactly what had happened. She didn't dress it up. She named the 70%. She named the refusal. She asked plainly what it said about the sport that even she, one of the most marketed athletes in track and field history, couldn't secure a guarantee that having a child wouldn't cost her everything. The piece landed like a charge. Nike changed its policy. Within months, the company revised its contracts to guarantee no performance-related reductions for 18 months surrounding pregnancy. A standard that had been quietly used against female athletes for years was rewritten, not by a committee, not by a regulator, but by a woman who wrote a newspaper column while her daughter was still learning to breathe on her own. She signed with Athleta. She became their first professional athlete ambassador, chosen not for medal projections, but because of what she'd done off the track. 6 weeks after Cameron came home from the NICU, Felix was back in training. The cesarean scar made basic movements painful. She trained anyway. She qualified for the 2019 World Championships. She ran the relay. She kept going. Tokyo 2020, delayed by a pandemic, held in 2021, was her 5th Olympics. In her last individual race, she ran the second fastest 400 meters of her career and edged Jamaica's Stephanie Ann McPherson for bronze. At 35, she became the oldest American woman to win an Olympic track and field medal, and the first athlete in history to win an individual track and field medal at 5 fully attended Olympic Games. One final gold in the 4x400 relay pushed her past Carl Lewis. 11 Olympic medals, 20 World Championship medals, the most decorated female track and field Olympian in history, and the most decorated athlete in World Championships history, men or women, full stop. She retired at 36. The records stayed where she left them. That was supposed to be the ending. It has been 4 years. Allyson Felix is 40 years old. She will be 42 when the Los Angeles Games open in 2028. 11 miles from where she was born, in the city that shaped her, in front of a crowd that will know her name the way crowds know names at homecomings. She told Time magazine, "So many of us have been told not to do the big, bold thing. You know, at this age I should probably be staying home and taking care of my kids, and just, why not? Let's flip it on its head. Let's go after the thing. Let's be vulnerable." She also said this, "When I was competing, you just heard this roar for host country athletes at the Olympics. I would love to experience that. I would probably be upset at myself if I just didn't give it a try." Her place is not guaranteed. The American trials don't give medals for history. The women running the 400 meters right now are younger, hungrier, and have been building toward Los Angeles for years. The qualification system exists to find the 3 fastest Americans on the day, not the 3 most significant, not the 3 most decorated, not the 3 who changed the most things off the track. She knows that. She also knows something the numbers don't capture cleanly. She has spent her entire athletic life doing the thing she was told she couldn't do. She ran junior world records at 18 when they said she wasn't ready. She came back from a cesarean section and ran Olympic bronze at 35 when they said motherhood had ended her. She took on Nike with a newspaper column and changed a policy that had been standard practice for decades. Every time the sport or the industry or the biology drew a line and said, "Not past here," she crossed it. Not loudly, not performatively. She crossed it by showing up at the next meet and running faster than the person who said she was finished. Los Angeles 2028 is the last line. On July 26, 2028, the city where she was born will open its doors for the Olympic Games. Whether Allyson Felix walks through them as a competitor will depend on times she hasn't run yet, in races that haven't happened, against women who would never dare tell her it's over. In a stadium 11 miles from where she grew up, the crowd will roar for the home athletes. She has heard that roar her entire career, and every time it was for someone else's country. She wants to hear it for hers. Just once. The records are already permanent. The medals are already counted. Nothing that happens in Los Angeles adds to the argument for where she stands in the history of the sport. That argument has been settled for years. This comeback is not about the record books. It is about a woman who looked at the last thing left unfinished. Not a time, not a title, but a feeling. The specific feeling of hearing your own city cheer your name in an Olympic stadium.